Homestead. We're going to be talking today about chickens. We're going to be doing some different things. We're going to show you how we mix their food and how we do their waterers and all sorts of things pertaining to chickens. So stick with me and hopefully you'll learn something. Okay, we like to keep our chicken feed inside of metal garbage cans for a couple of reasons. It keeps rodents out of them, and it also keeps the feed from getting wet. What I do is I mix the food in this bucket right here. You can see there's still a little bit in there. I got this idea from Justin Rhodes. And what he does is he mixes his food. As you can see, we use the dry pellets. I usually get a big scoop and dump it in here. Actually, I use 2 or 3 scoops, I think, in this. Okay, get that put into the bucket. And then what I do is I take this food and mix it with water. And I'll show you that in just a second. We're going to go up and turn on the water and get this all mixed up. Here's the chickens, some of them. These are our Delaware chickens. They're all hens. And then over here we have the Rhode Island Red, which is right there. She's the only one of those. And then the rest of these are Buff Orpingtons. And that's our rooster right there. That's Big Daddy. And we have to keep them in 2 separate pens because these girls over here are the older girls. And they don't really get along too well together. This is their water bucket, and we can show you that in just a couple of minutes too, what I use on those. And this is the water bucket for the little girls, we call them. The white ones over here we call the little girls, and the others we call the big girls. And that's just because of their age. Anyway, so yeah, there she is. Hello. She gets up here on this roosting spot and talks to me every time I come out here, right next to the door. She likes to visit. Anyway, so let's get going with the food, and I'll show you how we mix the feed, and we'll continue on from there. Okay, this is where I mix the food up. All I do is I keep a garden trowel, actually is what this is that I use in here. Keep it in this bucket. And all I do is spray it down with water. Get it all nice and wet. Then of course you got to stir it. Get the stuff underneath it. I just keep going through that process until everything is here soaked. When I got this idea from Justin Rhodes, he talked about how he uses his this way to let it ferment. And I think maybe the difference in that and what I'm doing probably is because he has a whole lot more chickens than we do. And I usually mix up this much right here. This amount right here will usually feed the chickens for 1 or 2 feedings. And then I mix up more. So probably about every other day or every couple of days I'm mixing this up again. Okay, so I will continue mixing this, and then we'll show you how we put it into the pans to feed them. Okay, I got this mixed up, and as you can see, it turns into what I call a mash. It's just all wet. It just dissolves the pellets, turns it into a food for them. I like this idea mainly because it doesn't waste any food. For a while we had a problem with the chickens knocking the pellets out onto the ground and wasting the food. And with this method, there's basically no waste. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. This is the pans that we use. it's a rubber dish, pan, whatever you call it, and I just put it inside here. They use these for feeding pigs and goats, and I think probably maybe cattle or something. I'm not sure what all type of animals use these, but I put the food into these, and since it's mixed with water, they don't really waste it, and also they don't tend to drink very much water because they're getting the water from the food that's in the pan whenever they eat it. Well, that's a good thing. This is the water bucket. I do go ahead and give them a water bucket as well. And this is the water bucket that we use. And I don't know if you can see it, but we have what these things are called chicken nipples under here. And they peck those and the water comes out. And that works quite well. Even though they're getting the water from the food when they eat it, it's still hot here in Central Florida. And it's been in the mid to upper 90s recently. In fact, it's in the mid 90s today. I think it's 93 or 94 or somewhere around there. Anyway, so I try to make sure that they have enough water out here that they can stay cool. They also like to dig holes inside the pen and take dirt baths. And as you can see here, this is some of the ground they dug up. They like to dig this corner up for whatever reason. I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but anyway. And I have to get in here and dig a lot of this out because it gets so hard packed that it's not sand anymore. Okay, and you can see over here also that the big girls, as I called them earlier, they have a pan in their pen also. And they get the same type of food. All it is pellet food that's been wet. So, that's a good thing that we like to do. I like doing that method. Like I said, I saw Justin Rhodes do it on one of his videos, and we follow them and try to keep up with what they're doing and all that sort of thing. But I like that idea when I saw him do it, and I tried it, and it worked out great. We basically have no waste of food anymore by this method, by using this method, and I like that. So stay tuned, and we'll show you the rest of what we're doing here. If you've used this method before already, leave me comments and tell me if it worked for you or if it didn't, or what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, or something like that. Give me some feedback. Because we're always looking for feedback from our viewers. Now I'm going to show you how we fill these pans up with the food. We looked earlier at how we mix it in the bucket, and this is what we ended up with after we got it all mixed. As you can see, it's just soft mash, I call it. So at this point, what I do is I get the pans up here that they're going to go in, and I just start dumping it into here. Once you start doing this and you see how much your chickens eat, you'll sort of get an idea of how much to put in here. I kind of know, because I've been doing this for a while, how much my chickens will eat in a day's time. And so then I just, put it in here. Sometimes if at the end of the day, when I check on them, if there's still some in the pan, I will go ahead and leave it in there and let them keep it overnight. I don't usually like to do that because it encourages rodents and stuff like that to come into the pen at night and eat their food. And so I try not to leave this in there overnight if I can help it. Another thing that I've been doing recently too is whenever we eat eggs, I keep the shells and I crush the shells up. This is what they look like. So what I'll do is I crush the shells up. I just blend them up in a blender, crush them up, and then I just take it and sprinkle it over the food and feed it back to the chickens. they love it. And what this does is it gives them extra calcium in the food when they eat it. So that helps them to build more eggs, more shells, whatever, when they're producing eggs. But anyway, that's just one of the things that I like to do to help try to give them a little bit more calcium than what they're getting. If you haven't subscribed to our channel already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Give us a thumbs up, leave us comments, ask questions. We like questions. And if you know somebody in your family or friends or somebody like that that might be interested in what we're doing on our channel here, please feel free to pass our information along to them. So until next time, thanks for joining us here at Hideaway Homestead.